being an adult is hard sometimes. We all have to figure out how to maintain our social life, make sure that we're looking after our bodies, eating our vegetables, staying hydrated, going to the gym or working out at home. We have to figure out what we want to do with our lives and work towards our dream career. We have to make sure that we're keeping up to date with what's going on in the world, making sure that we're recycling and saving the planet. And we have to take care of our own mental health, put ourselves first, make sure that we're living in the moment and staying present. All the whilst staying on top of our finances and staying away from problem debts. So it's quite a lot to ask. Hopefully I can make it a little bit easier. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 top rules when it comes to your finances to help you stay on top, stay clear of bad debt, and help you live your best life. Hello everybody, my name is Laura Ann Moore and I post videos all about money, mindset and motivation. I want to demystify money, get you feeling financially confident and help you transform your mindset and your relationship with money so that you can make educated financial decisions and so that you can live your best life. So let's get into it. Number 1 is spending less than you earn, which is essentially the same as living within your means. Basically, what you need to make sure you're doing is that the money going out of your account doesn't go higher than the money that's coming into your account. And the best way to do that is by budgeting and by tracking your spending. Now, you don't have to live in the spreadsheet, you don't have to go crazy and get obsessive over it, but budgeting and tracking your spending will be the thing that is going to help you know what you're spending and know what your income is so that you can make sure you're not spending more than what you earn. Now, when you create a budget, what you are doing is you're basically just looking at any money you have coming in. So that could be money from your income, from your job, from a side hustle. For that month, maybe you've got a tax rebate, you've got inheritance coming your way, maybe you've got birthday or Christmas money, any money that is coming in. Then you take a look at the money that needs to go out. And this is usually broken down into fixed expenses, which is like your rent, your utility bills, your car insurance. So anything where the cost is fixed and it goes out on a specific date, like a direct debit. And then you have money that can go to your savings and your investments. So basically where you're paying yourself first and you're putting away money for your future self. And then you've got the section for your variable expenses, which is the money that you spend throughout the rest of the month. So this could be your food shop, your petrol, things you need to buy, anything where the cost and the date isn't fixed, but you're still going to be spending money on those things. Now, when you have a look at it all in a row and you say, this is what's coming in, and then this needs to go out, this needs to go out, this is what I have left over to spend, that is your budget. And now what you want to do is you want to make sure these expenses, the money going out, is never going over the money coming in. Now, it sounds like a simple concept, and it can be if you work on your finances. So if you make sure that you put time aside to create a budget, or that you download an app that will help you keep on top of this. Because sometimes all those purchases throughout the month can add up. It can creep up, and before you know it, you've spent more money than what you had coming in, and that is where you end up on an overdraft or with a credit card bill that you can't afford, or you've borrowed money from people because you didn't have it yourself. So budgeting is a really useful money management tool that is going to help you spend less than what you earn. Now, number 2 is about working with the money that you've got. No matter how much it is, you have to work with that number. And if you want more to work from so that you can do more things, buy more things, you have to focus on increasing your income. So whether that's asking for a pay rise, getting a side hustle, getting a better job, finding other ways to make passive income, or any other way that you can bring in extra money, that's how you're going to be able to increase that so that you can work with more. But even when you do that, you still have to work with what you've got, no matter how much that is. Now, there's this phrase that says the way that you handle £10 is the way that you handle £10,000. And essentially what that means is managing your money well isn't actually about the numbers in regards to how much you have. It's about the way you handle what you do have. And if you feel like you don't have enough to do all the things that you want to do, that does feel very frustrating. But it's not going to help the situation if you ignore that and go, oh, I'm just going to spend what I want anyway, and you end up with debt, because you're always going to have to pay that off in the long run. So we want to essentially do 2 things: find ways to increase our income, but also learn how to manage what we do have. Because if you don't work with what you've got, you will find yourself constantly needing to borrow money, whether that's from the bank, from a friend, from a family member. You're always going to be in a deficit. So it's all about finding ways to work with what you've got. So one way that I like to work with what I've got is about understanding my own spending habits, because that then allows me to make the decision about where I want my money to go. Now, there's loads of different ways that you can budget. You've got your zero-based budget where you give every single pound you make a job. Then you've got your envelope method where you would spend in cash, which helps you start to understand your spending habits. And then you've got the 50-30-20 rule where you break it down in percentages. So you should basically have 50% of your income going on fixed expenses, 30% going on general spending, and then 20% on savings and investing. Sometimes the 20 and the 30% can go the other way around, or you can set your own percentages. And then there is another way of budgeting, which is the bucket method. So you put things into buckets, similar to the 50-30-20 rule, but the buckets might be, you might have a bucket for food, you might have a bucket for leisure activities, a bucket for this, a bucket for that. Everybody is completely different. But the best thing that we can all do to help us work with what we've got is making sure not only we know what we've got, but also understanding how we like to spend our money, because then we can pick up on different habits that we have and make changes where we need to, so that we're controlling our money and that our money is not controlling us. Now, number 3 is about being prepared for the unexpected. So essentially that is your sinking funds, your emergency fund, basically having money put aside in case anything happens. Now, the in case anything happens is a very broad term that stretches right from the extremes of an unexpected fill-in that you need at the dentist that's going to cost you £60, all the way through to the completely unexpected of a global pandemic where none of us could have seen that coming and it's completely out of all of our control, and it has financially affected a lot of people. So if you are somebody who has had your income affected, you've lost a job, or been financially affected in some way, please do not beat yourself up about this, because at this end you could not have seen that come in, and that is hard to prepare for. But what we want to do is basically start to work towards is having money saved in case there is an emergency. And there's 2 ways that you can do this, which I like to recommend. So one is an emergency fund and the other one is a sinking fund. So an emergency fund is basically you're starting to put away money every single month into a savings account that you can easily access in cash in case anything happens to your source of income. Now, I like to say to people, aim to have 6 months worth of living expenses put to one side. So this would be all the bills that you have to pay, basically. And I'm not talking about Netflix and Amazon Prime and your ASOS subscription. I'm talking about the basics that you need to survive. So if you were to lose your job or your ability to work, you have money there to cover those living expenses at a bare minimum. And then with your sinking fund, what that is basically taking a bit of money from your paycheck every single month or every week and putting it into a separate savings account so that you know you've got money put aside for when things potentially go wrong. For example, your car breaks down, you need to go to the dentist, your washing machine breaks. All the things that nobody wants to spend money on, but you don't want to end up having debt to cover the costs of those things. But you can also use sinking funds to prepare for the expected, which would be things like birthday gifts and Christmas gifts and things like that. Now, when you create a budget for yourself, what you can do is factor this money into the savings and investment section. So I have a free monthly budget template that you can download if you click on the link in my description. And it has a section for savings and investments. And into this, you could write emergency fund, I'm going to save X amount this month. Sinking fund, I'm going to save X amount this month. And it helps you factor it into your monthly budget. Okay, so those are the 3 main things. Spend less than what you earn, work with what you've got, and prepare for the unexpected. Now, these 3 things are universal across the board for everybody, and they're going to mean something slightly different to you, and you can implement them in a way that works for you. And budgeting or creating a spending plan for your money is one of the best ways to make sure that you can stay on top of your finances, because it gives you full transparency on what's going on, and you get to then pick how you want to change your spending, what maybe you need to cut back on, where you're spending money on that you don't think is worth it anymore. They're all the things that you can figure out when you use and create a budget. And the best thing to do is to make sure that you find a budgeting method that works for you. It's not a one size fits all. I personally like using spreadsheets because I've always worked from spreadsheets, and I think they're good because you can make them look how you want. But at the same time, there are also so many apps out there that you can use that track your money, like Yolt, Emma, Money Dashboard, loads of them that help you stay on top. Okay, so hopefully those tips have helped you out, and I hope that you liked the video. If you do, I would love it if you would subscribe, like, comment, etc. And I look forward to seeing you at the next video.